I am kayaking just offshore Billabag State Park in Key Biscayne, and I am headed all the way down to Boca Chita today, and maybe a little bit farther if I have the time and energy. I have never ever kayaked this far. Luckily, I have my pedal drive that hopefully will make up some good time. This is the first time I've actually ever used it in my life. This kayak was a donation after my last one was stolen. So I'm not exactly sure what to expect. I've only ever paddled, not pedaled, but I'm excited to see what we discover today. I'm now rounding Cape Florida and the Key Biscayne lighthouse over to my right. And the next speck of land I will land on is 5.5 miles away, dead ahead of me, called Soldier Key. So it's gonna be a lot of open water between here and there. I'm just now passing Stillsville over here to my right. The moon is still above me. The sun is theoretically rising now. But it's gonna be a pretty overcast day, so I'm not gonna see a lot of it today, I don't think. But this stretch of my kayak has a lot of boats that come through it, so it's probably one of the more dangerous ones. Well, I got to my first destination of any note. This is Soldier Key, which is a tiny speck of land really in the middle of Biscayne Bay. It's the first of the true keys because it's got a limestone base, unlike Key Biscayne or Virginia Key or Miami Beach. So I can now truly say that I am in the Upper Keys. But I can't stay here very long because I still have a lot of ground to cover. I'm just leaving Soldier Key now and headed straight south toward the Ragged Keys. And this is the farthest south I've ever kayaked. So everything from here on out is going to be new. So excited to see what there is to see. The wind has kicked up quite a bit out of the northwest. And it's forming these little white caps. Luckily that's generally the direction I need to go, so it's more or less a tailwind, but it's still a little bit intimidating being in the middle of the open ocean and still about 2 miles away from land and navigating this chop. Hopefully by the time I need to make my way back, either calms down a bit or switches direction. I'm coming up on the Ragged Keys now, over here to my left. There's 4 of them in total. 3 of them are uninhabited, but that one right there is has a little house on it, so that's private property. But my goal is right up ahead is Boca Chita. There's a lighthouse poking out. The ocean's still pretty choppy. I'm really hoping it settles down a bit. We'll see. I'm back on dry land on Boca Chita, 12 miles away from where I started. The Key Biscayne, way over there. It's a very pretty island. I've been wanting to come here for a long time. But unfortunately at this very moment I'm not going to be able to really explore it just yet, because I'm racing the tides to get to 2 more islands, Sands Key and then Elliott Key. And the plan is on the way back, once I have the tides with me, then I can take a little bit more time to explore this island at my leisure. But right now, again, I got to take a little break and then keep on moving. I am saying goodbye to Boca Chita for now. I'm headed directly up ahead for Sands Key. It was discovered by the Spaniards back in the 18th century, and it was very poetically termed Las Tetas, which means the breasts, because there are 2 small hills on this island that are probably the Gesta Midden Mounds. But there's also a pretty cool channel that leads pretty deep into the island, and that's what I want to check out. And then I'm going to round the southern edge of it and land on Elliot Key, and that'll be the southernmost point of my entire journey today, and then I will head back north. This is a really cool hardwood hammock here. As is typical, I'm seeing a whole lot of poison wood. Let's see, we have white mangrove, black mangrove, green buttonwood. I'm not gonna wander too far around here because, again, I don't want to get any poison wood on me. I'm really allergic to it. But it's definitely an area I want to explore some more when I have more time another day. This is breathtaking. The wind has died down and it's just about slack tide. This is why I was rushing so hard to get here, because there's a crazy rip current that comes through here, and if I didn't get here on time it would have been quite the slog. But that's Elliot Key down there. It's way down south, and then on to well, the next key would be Key Largo, but up ahead is a channel between Sands Key to my left, Elliot Key to my right. It's called Sands Cut, and I'm going to cross that and beach my kayak on Elliot Key, and then have some lunch, much deserved, and then make my way back. So I'm very, very excited. Oh, and the sun's coming up. This is great. I finally made it to Elliot Key. It's been 16 miles of almost non-stop pedaling, so I'm a bit tired, and I'm gonna take a little break here shortly for lunch. But before I do, I want to show you something. So this is obviously a gorgeous island. It should be absolutely pristine, But seriously, not even 10 feet from where I beached my kayak, every square foot is covered in trash. And I've been here many times before to many different sections of the island, and it's everywhere, all up and down the coastline. So this is Biscayne Bay National Park. It should be absolutely clean, beautiful, perfect for all the animals that live here, but instead it has the accumulated detritus of God knows how many years. Gorgeous hardwood hammock framed by seemingly infinite amounts of trash. That's Biscayne Bay in a nutshell. So before I sit down to enjoy my sandwich, and believe me, I will, because I'm very hungry. Basically, the entire route that I kayaked would have been an overseas highway if developers had their way. Decades ago, there was a plan to build a highway down to the Florida Keys, right through exactly where I went, from Key Biscayne through Soldier Key, the Ragged Keys, Boca Chita, Sands Key, down to Elliott Key, and on to Key Largo. Instead, what happened was that local activists got organized and they designated this entire area Biscayne Bay National Park. It's the only primarily aquatic national park in the United States. And as a result, they preserved all of this from development, or most of it at least. And that was a great win. That was a great win for the environmental movement. However, unfortunately, as you saw in the last scene where I showed you all that trash, doesn't mean that the work is over. There are so many problems in these what should be protected areas, because there simply aren't the resources necessary to dedicate, you know, the staff and the money to clean this stuff up. But marine trash is just one of myriad other problems here: invasive species, overfishing, pollution, all sorts of stuff. But regardless, this is one of my favorite places on the planet. I'm back in the saddle, bidding farewell to Elliot Key and heading back north. The entire way down I was on the bay side, Biscayne Bay side, which is usually the calmer side, but now I'm actually going to head north on the Atlantic side because there's a westerly wind, which I'm sure you saw me struggling with much of the way down here. And I want to stay in the island's wind shadow so that it'll be a little less choppy for me. There's Boca Chita again, and just peeking up over the trees is the lighthouse. So it should be there, I don't know, hopefully in a mile or so. I'm back on Boca Chita. I have a little bit to explore the island, check it out, before I have to head back north. Look forward to seeing it. Some more poison wood, no thank you. But there's this cool hardwood hammock path that takes you around the island through the mangrove forest and through the hammock. So yeah, it's pretty neat. This is really pretty. All the bunwood and saltwort reminds me of some sections of the Coastal Prairie Trail down by Flamingo. right by here, over to Elliott Key over there. Oh, well, this is nice. I remember passing this tidal inlet as well. Probably can't see it with this lens, but that's the Miami skyline way over there. And this is the famous little Boca Chita lighthouse, currently closed for renovations, unfortunately. There is Elliot Key, there's Miami, there are the Ragged Keys, there's Soldier Key, and that's a long way I have to go back. Here we go. Here's the private island I passed by earlier. Nice little complex of houses. I'm on the northernmost of the Ragged Keys, which, believe me, getting here was not easy because the current is just ripping between these islands. But it's really cool. It's a tiny, tiny island. You can tell it was inhabited. See foundations here, see a breakwater, and of course you see much more recent inhabitants who have trashed the place. I'm taking one more break before I head off to Soldier Key and then on to Key Biscayne. I'm just about a mile away from Soldier Key, and it is so shallow that I had to stop using the kick drive and pull out the old paddle.